and welcome to Katrina's Creations. This is episode 214 and it's been a very crafty little week and a very busy podcasty week because I have been doing Vlogmas, which we will talk about later in the video. Let's get started. I have one finished object. It is not yarn or knitting crochet related at all, but some of you know I like to do diamond art, and I finished my butterfly. So I have one more butterfly to make. These are going in my upstairs bathroom because the bathroom that's up on this floor that guests use is actually painted blue. So I think it'll look good in there. It's like the only blue room I've got in the house. Well, no, I take it back. My other bathroom's blue too, but I have lighthouses in there. So, yeah. So anyway, it's going that direction into into the upstairs bathroom. So when I finish that, I think I'm going to be done with diamond art. I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. It's like paint by numbers, less messy unless you spill the beads. Diamond art is not real diamonds. It is little plastic faceted beads that you stick to an adhesive canvas. And it has like sort of like paint by numbers. It tells you what color to put where. And it turns out really pretty and it's a lot of fun to do. I just don't know how many sparkly paintings I need around my house. So I think this next one is going to be the very last one, even though they're fun. What do you do with them? I've given some away, but yeah, I just don't know what to do with them anymore. So that's going to be my last of my diamond art. So now let's get to the yarny related things. So if you remember last week, I showed you I had finished the Jolly Green Giant sweater. It's actually jade, but we'll call it the Jolly Green Giant, because I don't know whether to say ho 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 or how are things in the valley, little sprout. I look like an oversized elf, but it is really comfortable. It's really warm. I brought this upstairs to show you. I'm making a second one, but I'm knitting it differently. This was a free pattern from Lion Brand, and it was knit in pieces. It does have a raglan sleeve, which means, let's see if you can see it real well. Yeah. Here is the raglan sleeve. It goes in an angle, okay? This was knit from the bottom up, and it was knit in 4 pieces. You had the front, the back, and the 2 sleeves. I like doing my raglan sweaters based on the flax or flax light sweater from Tin Can Knits, which is a free pattern. However, the flax light and the flax sweater, they're both the same. Okay, in case you're confused over that, the flax light just means it's done with a lighter weight yarn. It's a fingering weight yarn, and the flax sweater is done with worsted weight. Well, this is super chunky, so I can't just take the pattern from there and knit it, or I'm going to have something that could fit Dave and I together. It would be so out of proportion. So what I am doing is I'm using this pattern to get my gauge, because except that I'm going down a size. This was knitted in a 2X and it's a little big on me. I could actually just do the 1X and it would be fine. I might even be able to just do the large, but I'm going to go with the 1X. So I'm taking it down a size. So I'm using their stitch count because the stitch count for this pattern is based on this size yarn, which is super chunky. It's a number 6. But I'm interpreting that to the flax pattern from Tin Can Knits. So I'm knitting it using the Tin Can Knits pattern, but I'm using the stitch gauge from this pattern. So let me show you what it looks like so far. I've gone through 1 skein of yarn. Now this is knit from the neck down. I did make some changes because this neck is very snug against my neck and I would like it to be a little looser. So I did make the neck a little bit wider, as you can see. And this one is being done and it's called Wine. And it's a really, really pretty burgundy kind of color. So here it is. And I am doing this in the round. So in other words, the front, the back, and the sleeves are all on the, I'm just going around and around and around. So here it is. Now, I want you to see the raglans. I like these raglans much better than doing them and sewing them together. See how nice and smooth? See if it's going to show up real well. See how nice that looks? It's not chunky and bulky, it's just nice and smooth. I just like the way it looks as compared to this one, which just to me, I mean, it doesn't look bad or anything, but it just looks much more chunkier looking than the other one does. And when you're dealing with a sweater that is chunky yarn to begin with, I don't need any more chunkiness. I have enough chunkiness of my own. So even though this looks nice and all, I like the smoother look of doing it in the round. So that's what I'm doing. And when you do it in the round, I will be doing, like I said, the front, the back, and the sleeves until I get to about the area where the underarms would be. And you can tell the areas of my sleeves I have with stitch markers right here. So right in between here is my sleeve portion that's coming down here. But once I get down to about the underarms, then I will take those stitches and put them on holders, and I will just be knitting the front and the back together in a loop, and then you go back afterwards and pick up those stitches and do the sleeves. So there's no sewing together involved, and I like that better. So that is project number 1. Project number 2 is my socks, which I had started last week. I had one cuff done. I am doing these 2 at a time, and I'm trying to untangle them so I can show them to you. I carried them upstairs and all the yarn got all messed up. There we go. So there is cuff number 1 and cuff number 2. Last week I just had one done, so now I have the other cuff done, and now I'm working on the leg itself. I did a 1x1 twisted rib, which just means that it makes this stand out a little, the ribbing just have a little bit more definition. And yeah, so I'm just picking at this a little at a time. This is something nice and small to do while I'm at meetings and things like this. And I am knitting this on a US 1. So it is fairly tiny yarn, and this is yarn that I got from Knit Picks. This is Knit Picks Brava Sport. So I will put a link to this yarn. I have it in various colors. I will put a link to it down below in the description box. But it is knitting up really nice. I like the way it looks. Yeah, no complaints. And it's nice and dense, which I like my socks to be nice and thick. If I'm going to take the time to hand knit a sock, I want to feel like it's a hand knitted sock, not a store-bought sock. So yeah, I'm real happy with these. So that's my next project. Then I am working on a knitted design, a new knitted design. I am getting to the crochet, don't worry. I'm just saving it for last because I'm excited about it. Anyway, here's my knitted design so far. Not much to see. I've only gotten 20 rows into it. I didn't get very far. But this is yarn from Hedgehog Fibers. So you can see it right there. It's red with a whole bunch of other rainbowy kind of colors in it. So it's really pretty. Now we'll get to the crochet. Now, you saw last week that I was working from the bottom, and I'm trying to do this sweater sort of in one piece. I want the bottom part just going back and forth all the way around with no seams up the side. And I reached my underarm section, so now I am dividing and I'm working on the front portion of it. So here is the bottom of the sweater. It's a total of 150 stitches all the way to go from the front all the way around to the front again, so they meet. And so then what I did is I divided 150 by half, and then I divided one of those halves in half again, because the two small halves will be the two front, and then the one in the back would be for the main parts. So to try to clarify that, let me explain it a little bit easier. Out of the 150 stitches across the entire bottom of the sweater, The back, I divided the 150 in half, which comes out to 75. So the back will be 75 stitches plus 1, because you can't divide 150, or you can't divide 75 equally in half for the front. So that the front portions would be 75 split in half, which would be 34.5 stitches on each side to make the front. Well, of course you can't have a half stitch, so that extra stitch I'm going to put on the back. So each of the front panels will have 34 stitches, and the back panel will have 76. So that will equal my 150. And so, like I said, here it is. This is Lion Brand Homespun, and this is how tall it got from the waist up to under the arms. It's probably about 14 or 15 inches. And then I will show you where I started up the front. I have finished one whole front at this point. This is the front that would be across here. So this is the center front of the sweater, and you can see I've done some decreases right here so that, you know, it's not right up against my neck. So it is kind of angled a little bit, and then it goes straight down all the way to the bottom of the sweater. And then here is the armhole. This is where my underarm will be. So I will be adding the back right here. And I angled this slightly in just because I don't want a squared off looking sweater. I want it to be a little bit more fitted there. So I will do the same thing in reverse on the other side of the sweater. So I will do the two fronts together. That way I can make sure I'm comparing whatever I did on this side, I make sure I do on the other side, but in reverse. So I hope that makes sense. And then the last thing I will do is put in the center back. And then when that's done, all I'll need to do is sew the shoulders. So the only sewing I'll actually do is the shoulders itself, where I seam them together. And then I will pick up all the stitches on my hook going around where the sleeves are. So, and I will have to, I actually won't have a seam there either, because I will just keep going around and just gradually narrow it. Because I do have bell sleeves on this shirt, which I don't really like. I love this sweater, but I didn't make it. But yeah, I get things caught on this constantly. I could have made this sweater. It is knitted. You can see the pattern here. I've had this for years and I love it. It is so comfortable. And then this, I guess I should tell you what I'm wearing. This is just a cowl that I made. It's just simply a knit one, or yarn over, knit two together, and it's an infinity scarf, so it is doubled on me. The yarn is called, it's a German yarn, it's called Blick Fang, and I think the color was something like Inferno or something. You can see that's what the stitch pattern just looks like. And it has like these little nubs, like little nubbies that stick up, which were very difficult to knit around. I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about yarns like this. This is very warm, it's very cozy, but it's not an easy thing to have to knit around all these little bobbly things that stick out. So that is my works in progress. Now it's time for a little holiday along update. The holiday along has been running since October 1st, and it runs till the end of this month, which will be December 31st. I did some of the editing last night to send over to Sarah for the next entry video that she's going to be showing on her channel. We have close to like 450, I think, entries at this point. Very exciting. We're not that far from hitting 500. It's just really exciting to see that many people entering projects, and it's fun to look through. I've been adding projects rather regularly to my queue of things that I need to make, because I see things you all make, and that's what's kind of fun about doing the holiday along, is you get to see different projects in different colors that you maybe wouldn't put together, or that you wouldn't think of doing, different patterns. And it's like, oh, I want to make that. I want to make this. That's what happens with me. I go down the rabbit hole going, oh, I want to make this. I have no idea when I'm going to get all of those made, but I have added a few of those patterns to my wish list of things to make. So with the holiday along, Team Knit, as of earlier this week when Sarah did her podcast, Team Knit had taken off of their needles 10,209 yards. They had reached Mandalay, and they are now on their way to Vietnam. For those of you who are new to the holiday along or don't have a clue what I'm talking about, we are competing Team Knit against Team Crochet, and you can be on both teams because it's just for fun, to see how much yardage / mileage we can use to get from Scotland, where Sarah lives, to Pennsylvania, where I live. So Team Knit is getting ready to go to Vietnam. They're on the way to Vietnam at this point. They've traveled all the way across Europe and most of the way across Asia at this point. Team Crochet, off of their hooks, has 13,782 yards, and you have reached, as of last week, you reached San Francisco. So, and our winner from last week's little mini giveaway has come forward and claimed her $10 gift certificate to Lion Brand Yarn. So congratulations once again, Donna. And yeah, so we are having fun with the knit along and crochet along, and yeah, it's good. And what's going to happen is at the end of December, Sarah will be drawing a prize from the entries, and I will be drawing a prize from the entries and giving those away. So that is the update on the holiday along. Now we'll talk about the yarn advent calendar. I've been doing Vlogmas, which means every day from December 1st until December 25th, I will be doing a short little video where I am taking out and unboxing a little mini skein of yarn that I am putting into a mitered square blanket. So I didn't bring that upstairs to show because I figure you guys, if you're watching Vlogmas, you've been seeing it every day. You don't need to see it again. So I am having fun with that, adding to it, and I've got enough left over from each of the skeins to make at least one more square. So out of the whole thing, I will have 50 squares into the blanket by the time I get it finished. So make sure you tune in each day. I did do one small giveaway through the Yarn Advent Calendar, and the winner of that was Sarah Marlar, and her color request, it was a Knit Crate giveaway. I had an extra box from Knit Crate, and so she won that giveaway, and she chose the color, the terracotta color, the one with the kind of pinks and roses and terracotta colors in it, which is really funny because I was watching, right before I came upstairs to film, I was watching Lion Brand's Tea with Shy, which is Shira, who is one of the company owners of Lion Brand Yarns. And they were talking about what the color of the year is going to be for 2021. Terracotta. So Sarah, you're going to be right in style. So you picked the right color. That's going to be Lion Brand's color of the year, is terracotta. So that means she's getting that one sent to her, and I will be keeping the neutral one, which is this one, for me. So I thought I would also do a little update, because some of you ask about this. My original box that I got from Lion Brand in the gradient set, which was their 4 colors, was this one, which was the Cool Tones. And I had told you that I had ordered a different blue to go with this because I wasn't sure that I liked this green with these colors. And it came in, and I showed it to you last week. This is Gouache, and it's another shade of blue. So some of you were asking, does it turn out that it's going to go with this set? It actually does. It goes very well. It's lighter than the set, the blue that came with this. This is almost a gray blue that came with it. So they look the same in the light, but this one, the one I bought, actually does have a slight more blue tinge. This is more gray. This is more blue. Let's see if I can hold them back so they pick up the colors better. And then there's this one, and then this one. So here's those 4 together. Like I said, these two look very similar, but when you see them in person, they're not. I don't know if you can tell the difference. This one is definitely the more blue. You can see it a little bit. They are very close, but they're going to work. They're going to look very well together. And I haven't figured out if I'm still going to add the green, kind of greenish beige in with it or not. It doesn't look horrible with it. I just don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I like the color. I just don't know if I like it with the blue. So, and this was Titian that we all thought was kind of a crazy color since Titian is normally red, not greenish beige. So that's just a little update while I'm at it too. Now since I'm showing you other yarn, it's time to show some other acquisitions that I got. If you've been watching the yarn advent calendar, you already saw this. It was day 11, which would have been yesterday, but I'll show it to you again because it's really pretty. And I will put a link to this yarn down below if you want to check it out. This is Lion brand as well. And I have bought hand-dyed Wool-Ease hand-dyed before. In fact, it's right up here on the shelf. And it's a worsted weight, and it's okay. I mean, it's pretty, but it's okay. This stuff looks hand-dyed. The other stuff up there, so it's pretty, but it doesn't, to me, it doesn't look hand-dyed. This looks hand-dyed. And this is much, much softer. So let me show you what I got. I got this one. This is Hand-Dyed Heaven, 175 yards. It's 100% nylon. It is so super soft. Really, really soft. I mean, I was like petting it downstairs when I even had my husband touching the yarn going, feel how soft this is. So it's 100% nylon. Here is the first color. It's called Bluetooth. I'm showing colors I'm putting together actually because I really like them blended together. And this one is called Champ. So see, it's got like orange and blue in it. Look how nice that looks together. It's like the same color blues. And then I have two skeins of this, which is called Greyhound, which is really weird because it's not gray, it's denim. But look how great those three look together. And then I have a second skein of it. Truth be told, the next one I bought 6 skeins altogether. This one's called Fantasy. And it's like, it has some blue and some red speckles in it. In all honesty, it goes with this. I wouldn't put it with the other 3, but these go together nice too. I'm not going to put them together. This one's going to be a standalone, I think. But these 4, yes, they're going together. And then the last one is called Showstopper. And that's this one. And it is white with a real light pale, pale pink. The pale pink is like right in here. And then it's got pink and purple speckles in it. So, yeah, this was one of the sales. Lion brand has been running some really good sales lately. This was one of their 3 for $10. So $20, I got 6 skeins of yarn. You can't beat that. But anyway, they're not running a sale on it right now, but I will put a link to it down below in the description box. Now it's time for Come and Get It. And the last couple weeks I've been doing a really short Come and Get It because most of the big sales are coming through as flash sales on Lion brand. And that's where I've been advertising them at, which I am still, of course, going to be doing because who doesn't like a sale? But I thought since it's getting close to Christmas, let's see what some of the other places have for sale as well. So I looked at Leisure Arts, and the links to all of these are down, like I said, down below in the description box. You hit the little show more button and it all drops down and you can click that link. It should take you right over to wherever it is you're looking for. Okay, so Leisure Arts, I looked up Afghans, Christmas, and specifically Christmas Afghans, Christmas stockings, and Christmas ornaments. And I found some knit and some crochet ones for each of those little topics. So I'm going to roll that footage. Now, Love Crafts, for those of you who live not in the United States, don't want to leave you guys out. They are running a sale. It's called the Hygge sale. Now, Hygge, if you're not familiar with it, is a, I believe it's a Dutch word, and it kind of means cozy, comfortable, snuggly type of wintry fireside coziness. That kind of thing. Anyway, they are running that sale. I probably totally butchered how to say that. It's Hygge sale. It's up to 30% off of their yarns, of their select European yarns. So, yeah, I'm not sure how long the sale lasts, but it's running right now. So if you want to go over and check that out, you can do so. The Dollar Tree. This is not yarn related, but it's something I'm going to hopefully do one of my yarn advent calendars. We're going to be doing this and making a craft together. It's a wreath. Just in case you can't tell, it's a wreath. Yes. Now, I bought this one right at the store for $1. They have some that you can buy online. You can buy them like this. They also have them in like wire forms, like the wire type of wreaths. Yeah, they have all of those for $1. Now, if you buy online, you do need to buy the entire case, which could be a lot, but in the case of wreaths, it's not. The wire wreaths, I believe you only have to buy 4. So you could make them for lots of wreaths around your house, or if you want to make some for gifts. I'm going to be gluing Christmas balls on mine, and hopefully it will turn out. If not, you can watch the disaster together with me while I create it and burn my finger with my hot glue gun. Doesn't that sound exciting? Yes, you can watch me injure myself. But anyway, that's what I got from the Dollar Tree. I also bought Christmas cards from the Dollar Tree. They were $14 for $1. That's cheaper than the Walmart cheapy ones that I usually get. So that is it for the Come and Get It section this week. Knit picks, I did look over to see what they had on sale. I didn't see anything at the time that I am filming this, but there is a link down below if you want to check out the yarn I am making my socks with which is Brava Sport. So there is a link to that down there as well. So I hope you have a great weekend, and please watch my Vlogmas videos each day. Never know what might pop up, and like I said, you can watch me hurt myself. That could be exciting. Entertaining, if nothing else, probably more like comic relief, but that's okay. We can have fun together. So that's it for this week. Thank you all for watching. And if you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.